podcast, DANEIL Loveless. Welcome to Success Talks, the podcast. This is a podcast where we dive deep into our guests' minds to get all of their hints, tips, and secrets of how they attain and maintain success at the highest level. Welcome to the podcast. This episode is sponsored by Polish Club by Jodes. They are located in the Malabar area, Trinidad. They specialize in manicure, pedicure services, and acrylic services also. For more information about their services, you can visit their Instagram page at polishclub_by_Jodes or contact them at 389-5106 for more information about their services. DANEIL Loveless.
Yes, sir. It's a pleasure to be here. Good morning, everybody.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Yes. Good. As we're going to dive right into it, can you give our listeners and viewers a brief history of yourself up to this point?
Absolutely, no problem. Well, my name is DANEIL Loveless. I travel the world asking people questions. I've been to 26 destinations worldwide, questioning complete strangers around the world on the streets of Trinidad and Tobago and around the world, seeking to educate and entertain my audience. Over the past 5 years, I've managed to build an audience of over 800,000 persons on Facebook, YouTube, and these different platforms. And I continue to create content to bring a laughter and a likeness to the world.
Yes, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. If you allow me just to go a little deeper, what made you start the talk show, What You Know? Because we understand that there are a lot of talk shows, that there are a lot of persons that will do something similar to what you are doing. But what really drive you to get into that field there?
Well, what happened is that when I completed secondary school in 2014, I went through a period of trying to find myself from 2014 to 2016. So I went through that little period trying to figure out what I really wanted to do in life. And what I did is that I went out into the world of work and got a few jobs serving as a customer service representative, because I always liked dealing with people. I always liked interacting with people and bringing joy to persons. I found that in Trinidad and Tobago, the customer service arena was filled with people who didn't really like people, but I love people. So being in that arena, I enjoyed dealing with people and giving my best to people. But what I didn't like was sitting down behind a computer for the entire day and just having to just be there and use a computer and just be in that space. So I said, you know what? How about I get out of this space and involve myself into a job where I could still be that customer service representative, still interact with people without having to be behind that computer. So what I did is I left my job on the first month. I bought a camera and I proclaimed myself to be a photographer. I started doing photography, going to numerous parties, taking pictures, but I still felt stifled in that industry because I felt like, there was so much of competition and I didn't really stand out. The quality of the images was good, didn't stand out. I wanted to stand out. I didn't just want to be that guy with the camera in a party. So because of my questioning for life, constant questioning for life, I was like, you know what? It'd be a cool social experiment to see what people know. And that's how I ventured out on the streets and attempted the social experiment of what you know. And here I am 5 years later doing what you know.
Wow, that is fantastic. I must say that that's a really brave step in regards to how things are structured with regards to the field of work. Because you were telling me that at that early age, you had the maturity to step out of that environment and create one of your own. Good. So that draws me to the question to ask immediately. How do you define or measure success after taking that step or that brave step to step out into the environment on your own? How do you define and measure success?
Well, you see, I define and measure success by actually, judging the impact that I could have on people. So I constantly look at the feedback that I get from people, and that enables me to measure the success. Like, I read through the comments, I pay attention to the emails that I receive. But mostly the impact on people defines the success for me. Because you see, success for me is not within the material possession. Success for me is not in the things that I get, but success for me lies in the effect that I can have on people. So the greater effect that I could have on people, that is where my wealth lies. So I am confident that I am a wealthy person, because the more people that I could affect positively is the more wealthy I become.
Okay, great. That is fantastic. The show, I must say, I've watched it grow from strength to strength. And, I always ask myself, what Daniel Loveless is curious about, or what keep Daniel Loveless up at night, because you are traveling the world, going up to, let's say, strangers and asking them these personal questions, unaware of, their backgrounds or their educational pathway. What keep you up at night? What you are curious about the most with regards to the job that you is doing at the moment?
What I'm curious about, what keeps me up. So is it that you want to know what keeps me going?
What you are curious about, because, okay, we understand your pathway so far, but every guest, they are unique. Yes. So the line of questioning will be different. So talk me through that process. How will you approach an individual guest?
Well, usually I use my personality to assist me a lot in getting people to actually answer the questions. So what I do is that I would approach random people and just explain to them the concept of what I do. So like, let's say you were a guest or a person on the street that I would attempt to question. What I would do is I would say, hey brother, what's up? Would you like to answer some questions and a chance to win $1,000? Then you would be like, either you may know me or you may not know, and that is when you'll ask, and you may be like, okay, who are you? What do you do? And then I explain to you. I'll be like, well, okay, my name is Daniel Loveless. This is what I do, and this is the concept of the show. And if you participate, you could have the chance to win something. And that's how I just capture just strangers. I mean, sometimes people believe that they are, scripted or we kind of assess people, but it's just like random people in the streets.
Okay, that's fantastic. Because I always ask myself that, what is Daniel Loveless curious about? Is he afraid to go up to these people? Because the show is global. So that means a lot of people tap into the show. So I know a lot of people will, I don't want to answer. I don't want to be on the show. I don't want to be on the show. But that is really fantastic. So that draws me to the next question. Can you give our listeners and viewers, something that, persons who are familiar with you, that they're not familiar with what the job really entails, because we mostly see you behind the camera,
Yeah.
Can you talk us through some of the challenges that you will have gone through, some of the things that you will have to do to get this job done right and put out a proper product?
Absolutely. Right. Well, I think that is an amazing question. I think that's something that people did not know, or like something that people do not know is that what is such a spontaneous show. Like, it's nothing really that much planning goes into really. Some days, like, the team just wakes up and I would say, okay, guys, today I'm feeling to go to Port of Spain. And we're going to Port of Spain and we're going to ask people questions today. Sometimes we have absolutely no idea what questions we're going to ask, but I move on vibe and energy, and I just lead me to where my spirit goes, because I feel like what is something so much bigger than me. It's not about me. And the name of the show implies it. It's what you know. It's not really what I know. Yes, so I allow the show to build itself, if that makes sense. So I wake up and I allow the creator to tell me what I should do. So, and I think that's something that people don't know, because they think that there's this schedule, like, where are you coming to next? Or where are you going to go to next? But in reality, spontaneity for me wins. Every single country that I've been to across the world, it has not been planned. Sometimes 1 week before I decide, Las Vegas next week. Let's do it. Let's go. It's so spontaneous, and spontaneity has enabled me to produce videos that has had a major effect on a large mass of people.
Okay, great. Really, really fantastic. So how do you, let's say, keep the show interesting? Because we understand the pathway up to this point where the random selection of locations and persons, but how do you, let's say, choose or select the questions that will keep the show interesting? How do you go about doing that?
How do I select the questions that enable the show to remain interesting? That is an amazing question. I do this process by many things. So there are many factors, right? So I'll break it down into percentages for you. So I would say that it's 20% what's happening on social media, what's trending. What is trending? What is the trending topic? What can I hedge off of to create a question from? So let's say there's something trending with the commissioner of police. Then an ideal question maybe to ask something along the lines of the commissioner of police. So it's 20% of what's trending, but 80% of it is basically, okay, 20% of what's trending, 20% of what the people want. People will submit questions, and 60% vibes and energy, 60%. Let's jump in the vehicle and let's drive down the road and let us allow the universe to tell us what to ask. Be literally driving down the road and I would see a stop sign and I would say, oh, that's an amazing question. Can you tell me if STOP spells stop and PED spells ped, then what is STOP PED? And then you find people say, oh, STOP PED, it spells stupid. It spells, but it actually spells stopped. So I allow the creator to tell me what he knows.
Yes.
To see what I could go out and find, what people know. So I'd say 60% vibe, 60% what people, 60% vibe, 20% what people want, and 20% of just what's trending.
Okay, great. So we're going to go a little deeper into the interview now, and we are aware of what is happening globally, so what have been your biggest surprise within the past year or the past few months, maybe positive or negative? And I was on your social media yesterday, and it was a surprise to me. I don't know if it was a surprise to you, but I would like for you to, share a bit of that after you explain what have been your biggest surprise to you, maybe positive or negative within the past few months.
I think my biggest surprise is my ability to adapt to the current circumstance.
Okay.
Had I been asked 2 years ago, Daniel, let's say the world shuts down and there's a global pandemic, what are you going to do with what you know? What you know is primarily based on getting out on the streets and asking people questions. So had I been asked that question 2 years ago, I may not have had an answer. I said, like, what do you mean? The world ain't going to shut down. I am going to go out there on the streets and ask people questions. So my biggest surprise daily is my ability to adapt, to the circumstance. And I'm also surprised and very grateful at opportunities still overflowing. Like, things have been better with what you know and with business, on the business side of things, during the pandemic. So that is my biggest surprise, and that's why I continue to bask in gratitude, for the new opportunities, and what I like about that is that the more opportunities that come my way, is the more it gives me the ability to provide opportunities to others.
Okay.
So I like that so much. It's my biggest surprise, just being able to adapt to that and not being able to be taken down by the challenge, but being able to overcome the challenge and become better. Like, things are amazing. That's the best way I can put it. Things are amazing with the business, and I continue to try to do more for people. And that is one of the keys of remaining where I am for me, using these opportunities that I get and providing more opportunities for other people. So I think that the frequency is just aligned. The creator knows that I will provide more opportunities for people, and I like to give. So I get more so that I could give more. The more I get, the more I could give, the more opportunities I could create, the more I could inspire, the more I could do for my audience. And my biggest surprise is just the adaptability.
Okay, great, great. So I saw on your social media, which is a fantastic opportunity again to spread what you know brand even to a larger or to different continents. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate you and wish you all of the best in your future endeavors, you know. And I want that to lead me into this question, because the name of the show is Success Talks, but you know, success is taken into different categories and taken in different ways with regards to individuality.
Yeah.
And no one speaks about their challenges. Even we see on social media, you know, we will wait until we are dressed up looking nice, all these different things, then to post a picture on Instagram, but we will never show the process to that picture. So when you incur challenges with what you know, how do you overcome them?
Challenges. I overcome challenges within this entire entertainment arena by trying to find solutions to the challenges and not dwelling on the challenges. So I'm gonna give you an example. One of my biggest challenges as a creative, as the host of what you know, as an entertainer, is creating a separation between my personal life and the entertainer and the person I put out there, because thin line between personal and what I put out there. What I mean by this is that a large portion of who I put out is actually who I am, you know. Behind the scenes is the same vulgar, loud, you know, entertaining guy. And what happens is that because what you know and the persona DANEIL Loveless is so deeply embedded into my personality, it becomes a race in my head. So it's difficult to, you know, so many things are happening. Deals. You got 1,000,002 people reaching out to say congratulations. You got 1,000,004, a million DMs and people saying, wow, I love you. You know, so it's so much. So that in itself as an entertainer is challenging, to have all these things happening at the same time. You know, it's so many emails, so many people want you, so many people want to do interviews, so many people want to advertise, so many people need shout outs. So it's a difficult task of separating my personal life and really being still and the entertainer lifestyle. And that's a challenge. But what's the solution? Am I going to sit down and this is so overwhelming and this is so much, or am I going to create a solution? Right, the solution is get a social media team to be able to be on your social media and populate your social media when you aren't able to do it, when you need personal time for yourself, when you need to work on self-mastery, when you need to read, when you need to do things that you really want to do. Like some days I just really want to sit and read and just meditate and look at the rain and just relax. Like think about, okay, how can I be better as a person so that I could give more of myself to the world? But that's difficult to do if I need to be on social media all day, reposting people's things, making posts, etc. But it makes it better with a team. I can go far alone. I can be good alone, but I could be great with people. So that's the thing. Create a solution to the challenge. Okay. So that was one of the biggest challenges over the quarantine, because I'm home a lot. You know, I got to be on social media. So what I did is I brought on a solid team to deal with that for me. You know, I have my camera person, he's behind the camera creating all these moments. He's behind here recording every moment right now. So I have Nazim working behind the camera, shots by Nazim. I have Israel Mark, he's working on my social media. So I wake up in the morning and he would populate that social media and ensure that it's going. Then I have another guy who would focus on assisting and responding to the comments so that the system keeps running. So when DANEIL Loveless, the entertainer, needs to take a step back and say, okay, you know what, today, guys, I'm not able. I can't do it. I need to sit. I need to meditate. I need to read. I need to refocus. I need to figure out how I could, be better. Then they take the mantle and they go with it. So it's about creating a solution to the challenge and not letting the challenge take you down.
Wow. That's really, really inspirational there. That's fantastic. That's really, really fantastic. And I can clearly see that you have a clear pathway of where you come from, where you're going, and where you want to be. I can clearly see that from our period so far in this session. So someone who looks up to you, because there's a lot of person, but the young boy or the young girl who is saying, I want to be like DANEIL Loveless. I want to be like DANEIL Loveless, and without, social media and you coming in these sort of intimate moments, they will not know these challenges and struggles. Can you share some sort of advice or inspiration to them where now they can, let's say, achieve success, let's say in a shorter period, or if they have to go the same route you have taken, they will know what are the obstacles to look out for.
Absolutely. So what I would say to anybody who aspires to be like DANEIL Loveless, I would say that the first thing, before you even get to challenges, the first thing that you need to ask yourself is, what is my why? Why am I doing what am I doing? Like, why am I doing it? Because you need to live a purpose-driven life. You find that life is more fulfilling when you live by purpose. The question should never be, what can the world give to me? Or what can the world do for me? The question should always be, what can I do for the world and what can I give to the world? So that is just the first, before we even get to challenges, that is the first thing that we need to consider. What contributions can you give to the world? How can you make the world a better place? Because that enables you to live such a more fulfilling life and have so much more purpose. Secondly, you need to really define for yourself what success and what wealth and what fame is. So for me, I consider wealth not in my material possessions, but I consider wealth my ability to affect people positively. So you find that even if I'm down, people think that money could make them happy. But for me, what makes me happy is affecting people positively. I find the words that get you going. Words that get me going are inspire, motivate, love, right? Inspiration. These words get me going. So you find out when people reach out and say, wow, you inspire me, it adds to my wealth. You make me laugh. I aspire to educate. I aspire to entertain. So figure out your why. Yes. Because that is the thing that is going to get you out of the bed in the morning. You see, if you're just doing it for the money, or you're just doing it for the fame or the followers, these things are not fulfilling. Sometimes, coming from me, it could be fulfilling in the short term. It could feel good in the short term, but it dies out really fast. The novelty of it wears off really fast. But if you have that why, then it makes things, my personal why is just, I do this because, number one, I do this for my unborn children. I know my unborn children are listening to this interview right now. Jake, if you're listening to this, yeah, they're listening right now. So I do this for them. I do this to leave a contribution for them. I do this to create that generational wealth for generations beyond me, for my kids, 64 years, their kids and their grandchildren and everything. I do this to create opportunities for young people who are born without hope, who maybe are not academically inclined, or are not into. I mean, I did a degree in business management. I am, somewhat academically inclined, did well, CXC level, etc. But what about people who are not that way, who are not academically inclined? What do they do? I want to give them hope to understand that, all right, cool. If you don't, yes, kids stay in school, but if you're in school and they probably don't like school, it probably doesn't work out with you, there is hope. I mean, look at me. The degree didn't do this. The CXC passes didn't do this. This was all a burning desire to do something. So, to the youth, I shared a lot of words, but I'll just say, figure out your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? And that helps the process, to move forward really faster.
Yes, that's great. That's really, really motivating, because yesterday, I was speaking with, let's say, the manager of this talk show, and, we were having a discussion with regards to persons sending in their requests. We sending out our requests, and we want persons to understand, doesn't matter where you start or where you are presently, never to underestimate your story. And you are a living testament to that, because you went on to define every single law of physics.
Yeah.
And yeah, every single law there that we were telling me there. And, the show have achieved massive success, and still achieving massive success. So I, as the host and the interviewer, I want to know personally from you, what are some of the things or most of the things most people misunderstand about what you know? Before you answer, I can't remember, but I know it was a couple of years ago, there was an uproar in the media which went global. So what are some of the things most people misunderstand about the show? Because if without the deep insight of the show, it will be like, DANEIL Loveless just want to put people on the spot. DANEIL Loveless just want to show up this. DANEIL Loveless want to show up that. So can you share with the listeners and viewers what are some of the things most people misunderstand about the show?
Well, okay, so I'm going to break down some of the common misconceptions of what you know. So number one, we don't force people to participate in what you know. We don't just run up with a camera and hold a guy and say, hey, you spell Trinidad, let me embarrass you. It's not like that. The process, as I say, begins with us walking to the streets and asking people permission to be a part of it, explain to them the concept of it. People also sign releases to allow us to record them. That is a big, like, people don't know that.
Can you stick a pen there? Sorry to cut you, but can you stick a pen there? And I want to ask you very respectfully, yes. Can you say that over? Because I want to really highlight that. That is so crucial.
Yeah. People sign releases to be on what you know. Yes. Either sometime before or after the interview, most times before. So, they need to sign that release to be on the show. They know what they're getting themselves into. They have a chance to win money. They have a chance to win a prize. So they are competing for the chance to win something. So they're paying me with their face and their voice and their intellectual property, and I'm paying them with the chance to try a thing to win some money or to win a prize, or most times they still get something, sometimes a hamper. And now that we have all these names documented, we sometimes call back people and say, hey, you were featured in 2019, we have something for you, etc. So that just gives an example of one misconception of what you know. Another misconception is that we aspire to embarrass people or to degrade people. There is the minority, and I say minority because the majority likes the show, but there's the minority that finds that, we highlight illiteracy. And that is another misconception. Like, sometimes the answers to the questions, it doesn't really have anything to do with literacy. Sometimes people just are caught off guard, Sometimes people just, I ask somebody sometimes, what does TWO spell? And she went on for 5 minutes trying to figure out what does TWO, and that was not connected to illiteracy. Mm-hmm. We don't strive to highlight literacy. And people think that that's our goal, but that's not our goal. We have given out, I am sure if we do the maths, we have given out upwards of $100,000 on what you know. Wow. Upwards. There were years we gave out 20,000 in one go, 10,000, right? On the streets, there are more than 10 episodes we give out $1,000. So you do the maths, we, and most people who win this money are not government ministers, mm-hmm. They are not, parliamentarians. They are random people on the streets who are grateful for the opportunity. I've had people saying, oh my God, I didn't know how I was going to pay my rent. And these things are available publicly. There's just not me just bluffing. How am I going to pay my rent? Wow, you're a blessing. Oh my gosh, I could now buy my kids Pampers, Wow, thank you so much. Wow, I'm so happy to be featured on the show. I've had people didn't eat anything for the day and win a $500. I've had homeless people win $320. George, his interview went viral on George, a homeless person won $300 and something. So we aspire to give back. But if a person doesn't answer all the questions correctly, they don't win the prize, Correct. So those are just some misconceptions of that. And I just think the final misconception is that DANEIL Loveless is just the guy who asks questions. Like, this is so much bigger than what some people see it for. It's not just that guy. It's a guy who, he asks questions, he travels, but it's a guy who has a camera person who's dependent to be, on him to be fed. you know. And I don't mean fed literally, but fed as in a salary. We have a social media team who are looking forward to a salary as well, who are looking forward to feedback from me, who are, you know, looking forward to the opportunity for me to keep pushing the vision forward. So it's not just ask questions on the street, but it's this guy who is building an empire, and people are depending on this guy, not only the fan base, but staff, you know. So that is another one of the reasons why I can't give up. What am I going to tell my cameraman, you know, when month end comes? Well, bro, I'm feeling down, you know. And I'm motivated to create more content, you know. So like, I can't pay this month. No, you know, I gotta work to provide that opportunity and continue providing opportunities for them, my team, and the world, and more people.
Great, fantastic. And you overcame a lot of hurdles, you achieved a lot of success, and I want to believe that you are still in your early 20s.
Yeah, 22.
Yes, 22. So what advice will you give the teenager of DANEIL Loveless? What advice will you give it? Will you give that person? Or are you contented of the person you are becoming?
I am contented with the person that I am becoming, because I believe that you are always exactly where you need to be in life. But the reason why I'd answer your question is because you didn't ask me if I had any regrets. Advice and regrets is different. So I would give advice to my younger self. And I would say two things. I would say, number one, be patient with yourself. You know, even at 22 years old, I struggle to be patient with myself. You know, it's always let's go, let's be better. You know, so you sometimes need to be patient and allow the process to happen. And sometimes, you know, so be patient with yourself, be patient with your progress. And another piece of advice I would give to my younger self is definitely ask yourself how you could serve the world more. You were put here to serve. You know, sometimes we live so much by ego, you know. So I'd tell myself to drop your ego and see how can you be of service to the world. That's the greatest question a man could ask himself, you know. How can I be of service to the world? How can I make the world a better place? And when you begin to ask yourself that question, it becomes less about you, less about, you know, me and I, and I look good and I want this and I want that. Because when you go to the I, right, it now becomes a question of, what is the world doing for me? I deserve to be successful. I deserve this. I deserve that. I deserve $1 million. I deserve to be a millionaire. And that's the narrative these days on social media. Oh, get what you deserve. Oh, go out there and get it. Oh, success is meant for you, and go out there and get it. And a lot of people are not. And, you know, these hand signals are important to drive the point home, you know, because it's always a question of what can the world do for me. But when it becomes the question of what can you do for the world, then it becomes so much easier to manifest $1 million. It becomes so much easier to manifest staff and get more people and find the money to pay them. It becomes easier because the question moves away from a selfish question to a selfless question. Be more selfless. That would be my advice.
Fantastic. So we are at the stage of the interview where at Success Talks, we titled it Quick Fire Questions, which you have 3 seconds to answer these questions. 3 seconds.
3 seconds.
3 seconds, yes. What is the meal you can eat every day of the week?
Sushi, for sure. For sure.
Okay, so if you had the opportunity to have dual citizenship other than Trinidad and Tobago, what country will it be?
Canada.
Okay. When it's safe to travel again, what will be the first country you're going to?
Ghana. I love Ghana.
Guyana or Ghana? Guyana or Ghana?
Guyana, yeah.
Guyana. Okay. If you were not doing what you know, what would you be doing now?
Celebrity driver. I love to drive. Yeah. Driver of people, yeah.
Okay. And this is the final question. with the 5 quick-fire questions. What are the secret talents and skills that are not known that DANEIL Loveless possess?
I think I don't show people the motivational side enough. I'm a motivational speaker. I have it in there. Yeah.
Oh.
That is it. People don't hear it enough, but very, 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 very like Gary Tony Robbins kind of level.
Okay. Well, DANEIL Loveless, we thank you very, very much for joining us on Success Talks, the podcast. And we wish you the best in all your future endeavors. And we look forward to having you back on in the future.
Absolutely.
Or even in person where, we can sit and really, expand on all the questioning today. So we want to wish you and your team the best once again and be safe. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you didn't know,
now you know.
You know.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for tuning in to Success Talks, the podcast. Activate your mind powers. You are unstoppable. Only you can stop you.